reciting and channeling Britney Spears, to talking about Lisa Rinna, who was opening up. So yeah, let's take a trip from New Jersey and let's go over to Beverly Hills because Lisa Rinna is finally revealing why she quit the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or why she exited. I don't know, I guess we could be politically correct. Some people think she was fired. She said she wasn't fired, that she just voluntarily left. Take that as you may. So she revealed the reason that she left in a recent interview. The Melrose Place alum appeared on the Therapist podcast hosted by Jake Shane and noted how difficult the show got towards the end because of social media, saying, "In the beginning, we wrote blogs. You would have to watch the show and you'd write and blog about it. That's a long time ago. Then it became social media and everybody got real comfortable behind their computers saying anything." She made a shocking confession stating it was the fans who ran her off the show. She said it wasn't Bravo. It wasn't the girls. It was the fan base. They vandalized me in a way that I just didn't want to live like that anymore. And that's the truth. The fan base has to know it's because of them that I left the show. And that's something I think they don't want to take responsibility for. She reiterated when the fan base turned on her, it became too much for her to deal with. Okay. So let's address that because she also gets into other stuff where she talks about her and Kim Richards have their falling out. We'll get into that in a second. But let's address this. First of all, Lisa, what you're not going to do is blame the fandom as to why you exited the Real Housewives. I think it was just the backlash was so bad for you, especially during the season when we had that old troglodyte Diane Jenkins on the damn show and how you was allegedly aligned with her in the whole bullying of Garcelle's son and a bunch of other shenanigans that was going on behind the scenes that people was just tired of you asserting yourself in situations, stirring the pot. Now, don't get me wrong. I was living for it because it's drama. When we watch a lot of these reality shows, I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the craziness of it all, the pomp and circumstance. That's why we watch the show. We don't sit and watch the housewives for these women to sit here and play me and you must ever part, Maki, dad. Like, we're not sitting up there watching a lot of these housewife shows for that reason. We're not here to sit and watch them do patty cake. We want to see the drama. We want to see the fabulosity of how these rich people live, and we want the drama. That's why we watch the shows. So take responsibility for your part in the whole situation as well. But you're not going to do is sit up in here and blame all the fans. So yes, I come from the era of blogging. Long before I started doing this stuff, yes, Chris Avalon was a blogger. And I was blogging about all the reality shows and all these other things that was going on and interviewing a lot of people in these spaces. So now it's like we've graduated over to now that social media has become bigger than what it is. It's like you graduate, and I still do my blogging and have my own website, but I also do this type of commentary. And a lot of times we break down what's been going on in a lot of these shows when we need to talk about it. I don't really do recaps of shows, of reality shows. The only one I do is RuPaul's Drag Race. But I feel like the days of like really recapping shows, I don't know if necessarily people care about that stuff anymore. But yeah, so I say like for that part, yeah, I get it. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people that are trolls that go on social media and they will say some like really gross, vile things, and they really go in because they're passionate. And sometimes people can cross the line and be a little disrespectful. And so those people, I don't like the toxic fandom. We talk about that enough times when I be talking about the Drag Race toxic fandom and so many other reality shows that tend to do that, or just shows in general where people like to troll. I don't like that side. So I do give her that. But sis, you got to take responsibility for your actions and why you were villainized in the first place. You can't sit up in here and just blame everybody else. So then after that, she did go in and talk about, that infamous cast trip to Amsterdam where she wound up getting into a fight about her husband, Harry Hamlin. Don't remember that? Don't you talk about my husband. Don't you talk about my husband. She went off in this infamous photo where she went and pulled up and she got up out the chair. And Lisa Vanderpump is on the right hand side, and she had that glass, and she broke that damn thing on the table because she hit a nerve. She said there was some stuff on the plane where it wasn't great between myself and Kim. There was weird cold energy. You know when people vibe you. She was vibing me. She vibed me the whole time and was starting to really get me. It was getting under my skin. I should also point out that Kim Richards is a Virgo. It's like, yeah, I could smell your bullshit like a shark smells blood. So Kim called her out. She clocked it, and Lisa got mad. Now, allegedly, the because she said you don't want people to talk about your husband, because allegedly there was rumors going around that Harry Hamlin been cheating on her, but not with women. And I'll just leave it there. So there was a rumor going on that that character he played a long time ago, what they said ruined his career because he played a homosexual, that he wasn't really acting. And remember, he also played a homosexual decades later on Shameless. Remember, he was banging out Ian Gallagher? That iconic season. So the reality starlet acknowledged everyone was away from home and jet lag, which contributed to how things unfolded during the outing, saying that we sat down and 5 minutes later that happened. Maybe 10 minutes in, we hadn't even ordered dinner. I swear to God, she went right in and that's what happened. And you see the reaction. I mean, it's really now that I'm able to look back at it and look above it. It's one of the greatest scenes of all time. Rinna, who has been vocal about never returning to RHOBH, was adamant she does not miss filming and says, I'm still friends with the girls I connect with. So I don't feel like I'm completely out of it, even though I'm completely out of it. I get to see the girls I love. And look, I like Lisa Rinna. I've always loved her ever since she was Billy Reed on Days of Our Lives. However, it's like if she don't want to come back and she wants to go and focus on her podcast and that she does with Harry and focus on her other acting endeavors and find ways to make money, and because she is a bona fide hustler. That's one thing I will always give Lisa Rinna. Then let her do that. She don't need to be all caught up in the reality TV situation, because everything doesn't work in that whole context of that, or not everybody can make that work. And she made it work for as long as she did. So if she doesn't want to come back, then we good on that. It'd be interesting to see who they bring in next season now that Garcella's gone. Now, I want to point this now. Speaking of which, so I can wrap this up, I want to give a shout out to Lisa Rinna, because on a recent interview, speaking of her podcast, she brought up her father, because I wanted to add this to the docket as well. She brought up some tea about her father, saying that he died by assisted suicide in 2016. Now, on the March 28th episode, her and her husband, Harry Hamlin's Let's Not Talk About the Husband. Look at her over trying to turn lemons into lemonade, saying that she revealed her father, Frank, died by assisted unaliving in 2016. He was 94. Now, Hamlin, who's 73, said that Frank's quality of life had diminished to the point that he wanted to no longer be in the union. And in Oregon, you're permitted to check out when you want to check out due to the Death with Dignity Act. When they set their minds to this, they're ready. This is what the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum said, adding that her dad was in pain and really unhappy with his life. Still, Rinna felt torn about her father's decision, saying, you want to support your loved ones, you want to support what you want to do, but you're going to watch your parent unalive themselves. Well, they said the K word, but I got to change it up for the algorithms. However, Renner said her dad wanted it so badly and her mom signed off on it, so she and her half-sister accepted his choice. Now, Renner went on to explain that the assisted unaliving process took 3 to 6 months and required her dad to have 2 doctors sign off on his terminal illness, which they did. She also said the assisted unaliving took place in a hospice situation with a death doula, and not a death dealer, because death dealer, that was Celine from Underworld. Now, a death doula, and required Frank to drink the juice or whatever that would end his life. Let me find out y'all had the Jim Jones Kool-Aid recipe. They said you can administer it to somebody. You can't administer it to somebody. Rinna explained. As Hamlin clarified, it has to be a willful act on their part. Now, according to Rinna, Frank was eager to die, saying that the pills were supposed to come on a Tuesday. So when they set their mind to this, they're ready. So they didn't come till Tuesday. And my dad was so mad that the pills didn't come. Now, once the pills came, Rinna and her half-sister helped administer them to Frank. They set the scene by playing Frank Sinatra, which Hamlin said his father-in-law loved. Child. Now, we're going to go through this whole situation on how they Went through it. Okay, let's go there. They said it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The light was coming in. There was a lot of real beauty behind it. We were playing some beautiful, also some yoga type beautiful music. But then you mix it with the orange juice. It tastes like ish. It's sour, but he's got to drink it down. So you hand it to him and he drank it. However, Rinna said there's a part that nobody tells you and you don't expect about assisted suicide. Oh, unaliving. It doesn't happen right away. It took 45 minutes. Yeah, because it got to be a slow death. What you have to realize is if you're taking pills and you got to drink it, it's got to work its way through your body. Like, that's all in the movies. Oh, you take this little poison and then you're done. Like, really? Nobody does like that. But we understand for time purposes, you can't have real time situations happening in a movie or TV setting. Like, yeah, it's going to take you some time for it to get through your body before it starts hitting all the blood cells and all the other stuff. And then, yeah, you fall asleep. And she said, yeah, they just fall asleep, and it's not anything gruesome. The death doula also had morphine on hand in case they needed a backup plan. The mama, too, said that the whole experience felt trippy, almost so surreal that it didn't. I didn't feel like I was in my body. Yeah, because I don't know how I would feel if any one of my parents was like, I don't want to live. Like, excuse me, I would like to have like one of those Dr. Kevorkian assisted unaliving type situations. But it should be up to the person to decide, like, okay, if they don't want to be in the union no more, then yeah, you got to go through all the channels. You got to have a death doula. You got to have two doctors' signatures and be like, okay, this is what they want to do, and let them do it. I don't know if New York allows that, but to hear that, there are places in the United States that allow this, then yeah. So, I mean, then that's, I think, relatively interesting. So she said, yeah, she neglected to talk about his assisted unaliving publicly when it all went down. She said, I had started the show. And I think it was just too painful at the time. So yeah, and then also you have to realize, like, when something like that happens, the people who have to deal with this have to be able to find a way to process this themselves. And when they get to the point that they can talk about it, then they'll talk about it. And it took her, you know, how long was that? Like 8-9 years to find the the comfortability to talk about it. So yeah, wait, hold on. Let me put this in here because now if you need some help, because we try to be a little frugal on the damn show when it comes to helping the peoples. So yeah, now if there's any of y'all out there that need a little situation, a little pick me up, and you feel a little suicidal, and you need a little pick me up, and you need somebody to talk to, whatever the case is, definitely call this hotline that we have down there, 988 text strength to the crisis text line at 741-741 or go to 988lifeline.org. So yeah, definitely do that because, but if you got your mind made up, then I guess it is what it is, right? So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Lisa Rinna had to say in regards to not only the assisted unaliving of her father, but also, why her excuse as to why she left the housewives of, you know, Beverly Hills. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.